You're dying, and you don't even feel it happening. Not from illness, not from violence, from something far more seductive and far more dangerous. You're dying from comfort, from the slow erosion of your potential and the quiet suffocation of everything that was once wild, hungry, and alive. And Friedrich Nietzsche saw it coming more than a century ago. He warned of a future where humanity would trade greatness for safety, passion for pleasure, and struggle for convenience. A future where we would become what he called the last man, a creature so addicted to ease that it forgets how to live. That future isn't coming, it's here. And if you're honest, you can already see it in your routines, in your decisions, in the way your days blur together without changing you. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the comfortable life you're chasing might be the most dangerous trap you'll ever fall into. You'll see how modern culture weaponizes your fear of discomfort, and how the only way out is to do the one thing you've been conditioned to avoid. But first, we have to begin where the decay begins, with a small, almost invisible betrayal. The moment you betrayed yourself. There was a call once, you remember it. It wasn't a vague idea, it had heat, the urge to build something, to move somewhere, to speak a truth, to risk a different life. You could feel the shape of it even if you couldn't name it. Then the counter voice appeared. It's not the right time. I should be realistic. I'll do it when I'm ready. You didn't say no, you said later. But later quietly became never. You stayed where it was safe. You chose a job that didn't ask for your soul. You kept a relationship because it was stable. You swallowed the truth because it was easier to be liked than to be honest. And yet, on certain nights, something inside you still speaks. It says, you betrayed something. But here's what's worse. That betrayal wasn't accidental. It was trained. Comfort doesn't kill in one blow. It convinces you to abandon yourself one small compromise at a time. How comfort hooks you. At first, comfort arrives as a kindness. The soft landing after a long day. The quiet reward you tell yourself you've earned. And for a while, it really is harmless. But the brain is old, far older than the world you live in. It can't tell the difference between rest that restores you and comfort that slowly sedates you. In a world that delivers ease with a tap, that ancient instinct becomes a comfortable trap. It starts subtly. Boredom once pushed you into imagination. Now it pushes you into a scroll. Uncertainty once shaped character. Now it's treated like an error to eliminate. Every tremor of unease is answered with a distraction. You reach for the screen before thought has a chance to deepen. You fill silence before stillness can reveal anything uncomfortable. And every time you choose the easy route, the impulse grows stronger. Avoid the challenge, smooth the edge, stay soft. But here's what comfort addiction doesn't tell you, and this next part might disturb you. Nietzsche understood something we've forgotten. Your character needs resistance to stay strong. Take away the challenge and you don't get peace. You get weakness. Soon, even small problems feel overwhelming. The seduction of ease whispers the same lie. That peace means no struggle. That happiness means no pain. That meaning will find you once you have removed every sharp corner from your life. And most people believe it, which brings us to the next trap, one that's even more sophisticated. Your phone is training you. There was a time when distraction had to be hunted. Now it hunts you. Everything around you is designed to eliminate friction. One tap, one swipe, one algorithm anticipating your next impulse before you know it exists. You can move through a whole day without making a single real choice. But here's where it gets personal. And this is where most people get trapped without realizing it. At first, you call this state balance, then self-care, then mental health. But beneath the labels lies something more primal. Fear, not fear of danger, fear of being awake, fear of wanting something bigger than comfort, fear of facing yourself without the buffer of constant distraction. And that fear feeds itself. The less you do that is difficult, the more intolerable difficulty becomes. The less you reach for what is unknown, the more terrifying uncertainty appears. Until, one day, you no longer feel the pull to grow. Not because you cannot, but because you've forgotten what growth even feels like. It's not your appetite for stimulation that fades, that's constantly fed. It's your appetite for depth, for challenge, for mystery. And here's what happens next. This is where comfort stops being a choice and becomes a cage. The prison you build yourself. Safety is a virtue until it becomes a cell. You tell yourself you're being sensible. You stay in the job until things settle. You avoid the conversation because now isn't the right time. You postpone the leap because it's too risky. But what if maturity has become your excuse? What if responsible is just fear wearing a tie? Little by little, you construct a life that will never scare you. You surround yourself with people who agree with you, routines that never surprise you, challenges you already know how to solve. Here's the test. When was the last time you did something that frightened you? Not because it was reckless, but because it had the power to change you. If the answer is distant, you're already behind bars. You know this cost already. The unreturned message that would have started something. The job title you say with pride, but never with light. The way Sunday nights feel heavier than they should. That weight, it's the interest you pay on comfort. Nietzsche called this invisible pull the weight that drags you down, the force that keeps you close to the ground when you were meant to climb. Choose comfort often enough, and the mind forgets how to choose anything else. But what happens when you stay in that cage long enough? This next part reveals the most chilling transformation of all. When you stop wanting more, stay inside that cage long enough, and something inside you begins to change. You no longer simply avoid discomfort. You begin to resent anyone who doesn't. You see someone chasing a dream and call them naive. You watch someone risk everything and label them reckless. Nietzsche had a name for this creature, the last man. The last man has enough comfort to avoid pain, enough entertainment to erase boredom, enough security to silence questions. He no longer asks, "What am I becoming?" He asks, "What will keep me comfortable?" What is love? What is creation? What is longing? What is a star? So asks the last man, and he blinks. That blink is everything. The shrug at beauty, the yawn at greatness, the blank stare at anything that cannot be consumed. The last man doesn't hate excellence. He simply cannot feel it. Sacrifice seems irrational. Courage looks unnecessary. Wonder is dismissed as impractical. And here's the terrifying part. You can already see him everywhere, in the way people scroll past sunsets to check notifications, in the way they treat love like a Netflix subscription, in the way they've replaced adventure with virtual reality. But beneath the sedation, something still stirs. A pulse, faint but insistent. A memory of hunger, of wanting more than the comfort that's killing him. And that brings us to the most dangerous lie comfort ever tells. The promise that pain is bad. Comfort sells the oldest lie in the world, that if you avoid pain, you will be happy. That if you eliminate friction, you will find peace. That if you never risk anything, nothing will ever hurt you. But if nothing can hurt you, nothing can shape you. Think back on the moments that made you who you are, the heartbreaks that deepened you, the failures that taught you resilience, the leaps that revealed your strength. None of them were painless. All of them were necessary. "What does not kill me makes me stronger," Nietzsche wrote, not as a boast, but as a law. The strength you seek sits on the other side of the discomfort you avoid. When you reject struggle, you don't remove suffering. You just trade one kind for another. You exchange the sharp, clarifying pain of growth for the dull, lingering ache of regret. But here's what most people don't realize, and this might be the most important thing you hear today. Choosing your suffering. Nietzsche never glorified pain for its own sake. He drew a hard line between two kinds of suffering: the kind that breaks you down and the kind that builds you up. One shrinks you, the suffering of avoidance, of self-betrayal, of endless distraction that never satisfies. The other expands you, the suffering of telling the truth, of risking failure, of committing to something that demands the best in you. "He who has a why to live," Nietzsche wrote, "can bear almost any how. With a why that matters, even brutal trials become bearable. Without one, even minor inconveniences become unbearable." Here's your first tool for breaking free. Ask yourself right now, what are you willing to be uncomfortable for? Not what you think you should be willing to sacrifice for. What actually moves you enough that you'd choose difficulty over ease? Name it now, out loud if you have to. A person, a craft, a vow. If it doesn't make your stomach tighten, it isn't big enough. If you can't answer that question, you're already living as the last man, comfortable, safe, and spiritually asleep. The assignment is not to chase agony. It is to choose worthy difficulty, to step deliberately into the spaces that will stretch and strengthen you. You've already taken the first step by watching this far. You're confronting something most people spend their lives avoiding, but the real test comes next. Because you will suffer either way. One path leads to resentment, the other leads to transformation. Training the will. How do you begin to live this way when everything around you rewards the opposite? Start where you are, not with theatrics, but with training. Do something each day that your comfortable self would never choose. Walk into the cold instead of away from it. Choose the stairs. Sit with an uncomfortable emotion for 5 minutes without numbing it. Tell one person one true thing you've been avoiding. These are not hacks, they are declarations. Each small act says, "I am no longer ruled by what is easy." At first, the old instincts will panic. They will bargain. They will call you back to the couch, the feed, the loop. But the will strengthens with use. What once felt terrifying becomes tolerable. What once felt tolerable becomes necessary. And here's what happens when you build this strength, something most people never discover. The 3 modern trials. There are 3 arenas where comfort does its most elegant work today: your body, your speech, and your time. In the body, comfort whispers that effort is cruelty. The body remembers the clean signal of effort. Train it, and you retrain the part of your mind that quits too early. Sweat is clarity. In speech, comfort tells you to avoid the conversation that could change your life. That peace you're keeping, it's not peace, it's just delayed conflict. Say it, kindly, precisely, completely. Truth is repair, or it is release. In time, comfort turns minutes into mist. Reclaim one protected hour, guard it like a secret, put one demanding task inside it. These trials are thresholds. Cross them, and you re-enter a world where effort is not the enemy, but the path. But what you're really battling isn't just comfort. It's an entire system designed to keep you asleep. How to choose difficulty. Nietzsche had a name for the kind of person who lives this way: the Ubermensch, literally the one who goes beyond. It's not a superhero, it's a human being who refuses to stay small. The Ubermensch is the one who overcomes their weaker self, who creates their own values instead of inheriting them, who chooses meaning over comfort and growth over ease. The Ubermensch doesn't seek pain. He seeks meaning strong enough to carry pain. He doesn't pretend to be fearless. He is loyal to something larger than his fear. He doesn't wait for permission. He creates values where the world offers only preferences. This path is not reserved for the exceptional. It is how the exceptional are made. The door is not hidden. It is simply unappealing to the part of you that wants to stay warm and untouched. Walk through anyway. And when you do, you'll face Nietzsche's most merciless test. The life you'd live forever. Here is Nietzsche's most merciless test. Imagine you had to live this exact life again and again, endlessly. Every choice, every silence, every secret bargaining with yourself. Would you open your eyes to that eternity with a yes? If the answer is no, then something must break. The cycle must be interrupted. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the signs are clearer. Now. The door was never locked. It's only your fear that's keeping you from pushing it open. But the hurt you fear is the hurt of being alive, and the ache you carry is the price you pay for refusing it. But you're still here, still listening. That means something in you refuses to surrender. Live dangerously. Nietzsche once wrote, "Live dangerously. Build your cities on the slopes of Vesuvius." He did not mean recklessness. He meant proximity to forces that wake you up. He meant refusing the numbness that comes from living too far from risk, too far from beauty, too far from the edge where you meet yourself. You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. The chaos isn't dysfunction, it's potential waiting to be used. It is energy with nowhere to go because comfort keeps it on a leash. Unclip it. The comfortable life promises safety, but delivers a living death. The dangerous life promises nothing, except that you'll be alive to see what happens. The final challenge. You can stay where you are, safe, predictable, numb, and call it peace. You can keep smoothing the rough edges until you slide through your days without ever being cut. You can keep blinking at the star until it looks like a lamp. Or you can step into a life that demands something from you. Choose one hard thing and let it shape you. Choose one true thing and let it cost you. Choose one worthy thing and let it reorder your days. Make your reason big enough to carry you through the difficulty, and watch as difficulty becomes a tutor instead of a threat. What does not kill me makes me stronger. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. So, live dangerously. These are not quotes to decorate a wall. They are coordinates for a way of living. The addiction to comfort will offer you 1,000 reasons to wait, to soften, to postpone the life that would require you to become someone else. Decline them, not out of contempt for ease, but out of devotion to what ease can never give you. On the other side of comfort is not misery. On the other side of comfort is life, raw, risky, luminous life. The kind that leaves marks, the kind that leaves stories, the kind that lets you know without doubt that you did not blink when it was your turn to look up. There is a version of you that will never be born inside a life designed only to protect you. That version waits in the real world, in cold, in wind, in heat, in failure, in fear. Go meet them. You will recognize each other immediately. Open the door, step through, do not blink.